Welcome, Middlers, to the Medium in the Middle podcast. My name is Stephanie, and I take you on a journey of self-discovery and spiritual exploration. I am a Reiki master teacher, a spiritual and business mentor, and of course, a psychic medium. And I am here to share my story and help you tap into your extraordinary abilities. Join me every Wednesday as we dive into the realms of intuition, energy healing, and all things mystical. Whether you're a seasoned spiritual seeker or just dipping your toes into the magical waters, this podcast is your go-to source for inspiration, guidance, and a whole lot of lessons and laughter along the way. Let's get started. Hello, Middlers. Welcome to the Medium in the Middle podcast. My name is Stephanie. This is episode 216, and I am excited to share this with you this week because it has been on my podcast list for a very long time, and the time just never felt right to share this episode. But then the biggest synchronicity just happened this past weekend, and that was my sign that I needed to share this episode finally. So here it is. So I wanted to get permission before I shared this podcast episode because it is a sensitive subject and it has a big punch and a big lesson. So I was waiting for that to happen, and then this weekend happened. So I'm going to tell you the whole story from the weekend because it was just too crazy, too perfect, too synchronistic. It was too much of a synchronicity to be a synchronicity. So yeah, I'm very excited to finally bring this to the podcast. There's no podcast card pull this week. I wasn't feeling it. I just went on Instagram Live and pulled cards for a few of you just to get in the groove of the podcast. As a reminder, I only have one Instagram at Medium in the Middle. Just beware of scammers. So no card pull this week. And the only announcement that I have for you is about Reiki trainings. I still have space in the Reiki Level 1 that's happening this weekend. I know it's Mother's Day weekend, but it's a great gift for you. It's a great weekend for yourself. Send dad with the kids and gift yourself the gift of Level 1. You are a mom every single day. Mother's Day should be for you. It worked out this way that the training fell on Mother's Day because I'm in a wedding this month, so the Reiki trainings are a little wonky this month, and they go back to normal in June. And if you have been waiting for Level 2, the next one in June is now live. June 8th and 9th, that one is open. But I have a lot of travel coming up this month. I'm going to a wedding. I'm in a wedding in Vancouver. I'm going home to Ontario for the weekend. And then I'm going to Florida to do a Reiki Masters training. So lots of travel coming up. So it kind of threw off my training dates. That's okay. We're rolling with the punches. We're living life. Those are the only announcements that I have. All the links you need will be down below. But we are going to start this story from the synchronicities because nothing happens for no reason, and this was really wild. So I've been thinking about doing today's podcast for the last 3 weeks, but it's a pretty serious subject, and I just wasn't feeling right, and I wasn't in the mood. And I kept thinking I should ask this person before I do this podcast episode. So just some backstory on who this story is about. This person has taken my Reiki Level 1, my Reiki Level 2. They've done my mentorship program. They have attended every single mediumship practice circle. When I used to do monthly meeting in the middles, she attended every single meeting. She is probably one of my biggest supporters. She purchases or signs up for any workshop, course, anything I've ever done. We do monthly Distance Reiki together. She's won a few giveaways that we've done, just like highly involved in each other's lives since, I think, 2021. We were trying to figure out when. So the past few years. And it's always been virtual. Our relationship has always been virtual. I've only ever seen her over Zoom. We chat all the time. We, talk before and after our appointments, and we've become friends over the years. But I've never seen her in person. She lives in Ontario. a few times she's been like driving through Banff or close to Banff, and we've tried to set it up, but it never worked out. So this past weekend, I was thinking about this on Thursday. I was like, I really want to do this podcast episode soon, but I need to ask her. And I was like, oh, we do monthly Reiki sessions. And I was like, I know I'll see her soon. So the next time I see her, I'm just going to ask her. Because I was thinking, I don't think she knows I tell this story in my Reiki level 2 courses. So I kind of wanted to tell her that. So that was on Thursday last week. And then on Saturday, I was teaching Reiki level 2. And before I started work, I got an email from her. And she said, hey, not to be creepy, but I'm going to be in Banff later today. And I was wondering if you wanted to meet for coffee in real life or just say hello. No pressure. I know it's last minute. I don't even know what time we'll be arriving in Banff. Hopefully you don't think I'm a nut. And I just texted her back in like all capital letters. I was like, oh my God, we must meet with 1,000,000 exclamation points. I was like, I work till 5:30, text me. So she texted me, and after I taught Reiki, we met up, we went for dinner, we went for a walk. She got to meet Archie. She got the whole Banff tour by Medium in the Middle. It was amazing. I got to meet her daughter. I got to meet her husband. It was so nice. And it was just crazy to meet someone that you've talked to online for so long and become friends with in person. And I was like, I know this is not crazy, but I've been thinking about doing this podcast episode about you, and I wanted to ask you if it was okay. And I said to myself, oh, the next time I see you, I'm going to ask you. And here you are. So I told her what I wanted to do, and she was like, oh yeah. And she was like, and you have to add this part to it. I was like, okay. I was like, well, that's the episode. And then, of course, while she was here, I was like, before you leave tomorrow, we have to do an in-person session. Like, we've been doing distance now for 3 years. I was like, we have to fit it in. So I woke up early and I went and we did a session, and it was so nice. And I asked her if there was any difference between like all the distance that we've done and the in-person. And she was like, obviously it's amazing being here in your room and like getting the whole experience. She was like, but everything that happens at home happened here. She's like, I saw the colors, I felt the tingling, I felt this, I felt that, all the things I feel at home. She's like, obviously it was cool because you're sitting right beside me. She's like, but it was really the same. And I was like, yeah, like I knew that, but it's just nice to have that confirmation. So I can't believe we finally got to meet. That was so exciting. It was just so nice to finally meet online friends in person, especially ones that support me so much, support my business so much, literally support everything I do. She attends everything, like the amount of times that I'm like, why are you here? If I run something twice, she attends it twice. She attends my goals workshop every year. She literally everything I put out, this woman supports me. So thank you so much. And then I now have permission to share this story, so here is the story. So I share this story in Reiki level 2 because when we talk about Reiki, there is a very big disclaimer that we have to give that Reiki and medicine are 2 separate things, and Reiki practitioners never diagnose. We never say anything medical. Reiki and healing are 2 very different things, and what we're teaching is not medicine, it's healing. It does not constitute or replace medical advice or procedure. We're not medically trained or registered, and we can only heal others with their permission. In the case of serious illness, we always say consult your medical practitioner. So in level 2, when I start to talk about other people's energies, what do you say, what do you not say, how to watch what you say, how to make sure we're never saying anything medical, I always use this example to really drive home this lesson. So I always explain, I have this client that I've seen many, many times, everything I just told you guys. I was like, I know her energy. I do Reiki on her monthly. She attends everything. She buys every course. So I know her energy very, very well. So we were doing a distance Reiki one day, and on this day, she said, hi, Steph. Something's wrong. I know you're going to know what's wrong, and I want you to tell me. So I'm giving you permission to tell me, because she knows that I can't say certain things. And I was like, okay. She's like, I'm testing you. I was like, ooh, this will be fun. It's like, okay. So we begin, and I said, oh, something's wrong. She's like, yes. I'm like, oh, it's in your chest. She's like, yes. I'm like, oh, it's in your left side. She's like, yes. I'm like, oh, it feels heavy. She's like, yes. I'm like, is it COVID? She's like, no. I'm like, I don't know what it is. She's like, you don't know what it is? I was like, no. She's like, okay. So we finished the session and the distance Reiki. And at the end of the session, she says, do you want me to tell you what's going on? And I said, if you want to. And she said, I have breast cancer on the left side, right where you said it was. And I said, I know. And she said, why didn't you tell me? I knew you would know. I was testing you. I told you to tell me. And I said, you know, I would never say those words out loud. Even though I know, you know, I know, we never, ever, ever say those words out loud. I'm not a doctor. We don't say those things in a Reiki session. And I say this to my level 2 students because I say to them, even when we're being tested, you never speak about anything medical. That is not your job. That is not anything that we discuss. We are Reiki practitioners. We stay in our lane. And I always say, I'm not your therapist. I'm not your best friend. I'm not your doctor. And I respect all of those other things. And I stay in my lane. And a very common question that comes up when I share this story is, well, what if you knew that she had cancer before she knew she had cancer and, you know, you were aware of it before she was? And I truly 100% believe in my heart of hearts that I would not know anything that the person does not already know about. It is not highest good. Reiki works off of highest good. It is not highest good for me to know you have cancer when you do not know. It is not highest good for me to be the one to tell you you have cancer. That's a doctor's job. That's not my job. That's not highest good. So I answer this question to my students by saying, I would not know that she had breast cancer on her left side unless she already knew that she had breast cancer on her left side. It's not highest good for me to know that. I was like, she was testing me. She already knew, but I wouldn't have known that information if it wasn't highest good. And I believe that with anything when it comes to work. I've worked with people who have cancer and it'll be like, oh, something's here. Oh, something's here. Oh yeah, I have cancer there. Oh yeah, I have a tumor there. I don't get the feeling of, oh, there's a tumor here. I would, number one, never ever say that. Number two, it's not highest good for me to know. It's highest good for me to know what to work and where to work. So if I'm working on your left side of your chest, I don't need to know why, but I'm working there. So to kind of also drive this point home, and this was the part that she wanted me to include, was she went through her cancer treatments. We were doing regular Reiki. And then after she started a certain medication, we started to do Reiki every month on the first of the month to try to see if we could regulate the effects of this certain medication. She was doing an experiment to see if the Reiki would affect it, how she could manage her pain and what was happening. So on one of those sessions, I said to her, I just keep seeing pink. I was like, it's like everywhere is pink. Your entire chest is pink. Everything is pink. And we couldn't really place it. She's like, I don't know what you mean. I was like, I don't know. Like, does pink mean a baby's coming? Does pink mean, I guess it could mean your third eye. I was like, but it's in your chest. And I just kept saying, I just see pink. Pink is everywhere. It's all over your body. I see pink. I see pink. I see pink. She said to me, Steph, we hung up that Zoom call for the distance Reiki, and later that day, my entire body started turning pink. She ended up getting shingles. She's like, and it blew my mind because the whole Reiki session, you just kept saying your body is pink. I'm seeing pink. There's a pink everywhere. She's like, and then my body literally turned pink, and then it broke out in shingles. So this is another example of highest good. It is not highest good for me to say, hey, you're going to break out in shingles later today. It is not highest good for me to know she's going to break out in shingles. I just saw pink. It is not highest good for me to know or tell her. I just said what I saw, which was pink everywhere. So this is another example of how highest good when we are working always is number one. It always takes first place. It always comes before anything. It is not highest good for me to tell you you're going to break out in shingles. I was just seeing the energy of what was coming. This is why psychics, mediums, Reiki people, anything like that, they should never be telling you anything bad, because we shouldn't be able to see anything quote unquote bad that's happening, because it's not the highest good for us to deliver that information. Even if you're like, but you could avoid someone getting into an accident or you could help them. That's not my job. We're not playing God. We can't stop everybody from making a bad decision or getting into an accident or getting hurt or any of those things. So we're not going to be given that information because it's not our responsibility, but it's also not for the highest good of anyone involved. So that information should never be given. So whenever I hear that someone says, oh, someone told me something, negative, I was like, that's just not true, because they shouldn't know that information, especially if you're working with highest and greatest good. So I've been wanting to share this story on the podcast, not only because it's a powerful story, but also because it was a test. And although I passed the test, you still have to learn when to say things out loud and when to not say things, being very discerning that even if someone gives you permission, there are certain things that, because of highest good, you don't get into. And then the synchronicity of getting to meet this person on the weekend was amazing, and just a full circle moment. It's crazy how we form such amazing connections with people online, and then you meet them in real life, and it's like you've known them forever. And I have known her for a very long time. I also got to meet just yesterday another Reiki student, mentee, turned friend that I've been talking to online. I think we figured out since 2019, which just seems forever. And then meeting in person was just like two old friends catching up. So lots of full circle moments. But when she messaged me that she was in Banff, I just knew that it was the sign that it was finally time to do this episode. It's a hard episode. It's sad. I used to always tear up when I said that story, but it is a happy story. She is doing great. She's fine. She's done her treatments. Her hair has grown back. She's looking amazing and healthy. So now it's, a nicer story to tell than when we were right in the thick of it. So I hope that helps you with kind of highest good. I hope this helps you with what do you say? What do you not say? Why do we not get certain pieces of information? Why do we not know certain things? Why do certain things come up in certain ways? And just knowing that Reiki is always for your highest good. Reiki is always out of love, and Reiki will never cause harm. Those are the principles of Reiki. So knowing that information is always how we work. So I hope this episode helped you on your Reiki development journey. I release new episodes every Wednesday. Please follow along and click that follow button. If you haven't already, I would love and appreciate a rating and review. All the links you need to book with me, work with me, see what I have to offer are down below in the show notes. But until next Wednesday, Middlers, when I see you in your ears, I hope you have a wonderful week. Bye, everybody.